I'm going to be ranting about full-time jobs. Okay, so at this point, I basically started my new job a little over a month ago, and there's nothing wrong with the job. So far, it's been okay. Like, genuinely, there's no problems, no issues so far that's come up. I've just been okay with it. It's more like I just realized that I hate jobs in general. It all started literally during my first week that Friday, where I don't know what I was doing. I was just like reading something. It didn't really matter. But at that time, I was just going through this anxiety where like I just couldn't focus on anything. And I was just like basically panicking. Uh I mean, okay, I probably should have just like got up and paced around to like cool off, but I just didn't do it. I was just basically just tense all over and just having like this. I silently had a mental breakdown. I felt this once before. Like this isn't new. The only time I've ever felt this way though was in my previous job. And originally, I just thought that that was normal during that time because the job sucked. So that's how I rationalized it. It was just, oh yeah, shitty boss, shitty environment. So that's why I was having this anxiety then. But now, like on paper, none of the problems from there, from the previous job, is here. And yeah, I was still going through the same thing, and I have no idea why. So I like had to really think, okay, what is it that's making me feel this way? Like this anxiety that is just like eating me. So I've just been thinking back to what could be the cause of this anxiety. And the thing that kept playing over in my mind was this conversation that I had with my boss on like my first day. He basically pulled me aside and was giving me the whole rundown of what to expect, what they're expecting out of me, and it was all pretty normal stuff. I shouldn't be too worried or too stressed yet because I don't have much experience. I wouldn't know how to do the job yet, so I'll just slowly learn. That's fine. It could take months, but it's okay. The things about the job itself are not the problem. It's more like to do with basically every other job. All jobs have this problem. So then once he started getting into how some people would usually leave because the job isn't really known for good pay. It's a government job, so it's more about good benefits, stability, all that. But pretty low pay, so most people would leave. But for my boss, he was saying that he was glad to have stuck out for so long as he did. He's been working there for 31 years, and in the long run is great because he gets good benefits, good health benefits, retirement, where he'll eventually get like three-fourths of his salary. So what I kept thinking was he's trying to tell me these things, to the new guy, so I wouldn't want to leave, stick with the job. But all I could think about was that I just don't want to be like him because like within those 31 years he has never been able to escape the full-time job lifestyle. He's never like he still has to commute every day, still has to work the 40 hours a week or even more because he's the boss. He has to oversee everything, yeah, on top of like added stress and all the work. So he has to come in every day at 8 a.m. still. He has to follow all these dumb rules that I don't know, someone else in some other department made up for all of us that doesn't show up to our site ever. Basically, everything that his conversation just had an opposite effect on me. It just hit me that I'm not okay with that kind of lifestyle. So one of the first things that like I learned about myself when I started was that I just hate my alarm. Every day, I just have to wake up at 6 a.m. just to turn it off. And I just know that when I turn it off, that's not where it ends because I know that I'm going to have to do it again the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day. And then I basically have to do that for the next 30 to 40 years or until I die early. And that just made me realize, oh, I'm trapped. Like, this is just what life is, and I can't accept that. And this is going to be true for like any job. It's not just this job. No matter what, if I go somewhere else, I'm also going to have to do 40 hours a week, 5 days a week, probably at 8 a.m. It doesn't even have to be about the alarm, what it sounds like, or what time I get up. It's the fact that I do have to get up every day at the same schedule that I do not get to set. It also makes me not want to get other jobs too because you got to need health insurance, you got to need an income. I don't want to do more interviews. Everyone hates interviews. Interview sucks. No one likes doing them. I just feel like I'm just stuck at a job. And this is just supposed to be the way that life is until I'm old, when I can finally have this freedom, when I'm incapable of really doing anything with it. I just can't wrap that around my head and I'm not okay with it. And I love that this is like a first world problem. Basically, everyone goes through this. I just don't get how. Like, I don't know how this is like a normal thing in life. People always tell me that this is the way life is. If you could just say the same thing about everything else, you could say the same thing about people dying of polio being normal. If we all universally agree that it sucks, we have to do something about it. Like, that's the point. You have to actually address the issue. Just because there are things that are worse doesn't mean that this isn't objectively shit. Because I don't think I'm going to fix the problem of a typical 9 to 5. The only thing I can really do is try to find a way out of the system. So I just need to find a way out. Most people will just say you have to just start your own business or just be self-employed or something. I know people can do it; they've done it, and I don't think like working, doing the work is the problem. It's just that it being your whole life is the problem. I just need to do something to escape the full-time job. I just have no idea what. I hate how my 8 to 4 basically turns into a 6 to 5 once I factor in knowing myself needing an hour to just really kind of wake up and get going, and then an hour to commute. And then when I get home, I'm just tired. Like, I don't want to do anything else. I don't have the energy to do anything else. I don't like how uninterested I am at the job. I just don't care about what I'm doing, which maybe I could find something else to care about, but I still can't imagine caring about that thing that I'm willing to do 40 hours a week for and on someone else's schedule. There's so many things I just don't like about jobs, and it would be true for like all jobs. I don't like the chain of command that makes everything take forever to get done. My coworkers, they're fine people. They're probably fine. They're all friendly, but they're not friends. They mostly keep to themselves, which is better than having terrible coworkers. But when they all keep to themselves, it just feels so isolating. When I'm just at that cubicle and then there's just no one to talk to. And I can't even look forward to the weekends, which most people say to live for the weekends. But like, I'm not relaxed. I'm not doing anything. All I can really do is just try to rest, and I just feel terrible the whole time. Like, I feel dread on Sundays because I just know I have to go back to work. I'm not even opposed to doing hard work. It just sucks that I don't care even a little about what I'm doing every day for like an arbitrary amount of time where I just feel aimless and miserable until I retire. People usually tell me that it gets better. Okay, it actually doesn't get better. They usually more say that they kind of get used to it or that they adapt to it, so it's just easier to deal with. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be able to adapt to it because or you could adapt to having like a leaky roof. You just have a bucket under it and you empty it out every day. But that's not fixing the problem. The way full-time jobs are is the problem. I'm trying to, I guess, tackle that issue rather than just being okay with it because I don't think I would ever want to be okay with it. Even if I am, I know that I don't want to be because I'm not even talking about the income issue or like the salary or being able to afford to live. That's a whole separate thing. This is just purely about full-time jobs. And I hate that I'm just told not to let a job define me and I should, do things like find a hobby, do things outside of work, do things that I like. I get that, but a job 100% defines you. It's literally the biggest part of your life, even if you don't want it to be. I'm not waking up 5 times a week at 6 a.m. to commute 2 hours a day for my hobbies. I'm doing it for work. I have to plan out days off and sick days around work. Work defines what you can even do based on the salary you're given. I can only feel safe when I have health insurance that I get from work. I know I can't do things on Sunday night because I have work Monday. On a work day, the first thing I do when I wake up is dismiss my alarm and I just feel awful getting ready to go to work. And right before I sleep, I know that I'm getting to sleep for 8 hours just so I can go to work the next day. So that means in a given day, the first and last thing I think about is dreading going to work. I literally see my coworkers more than I see my friends, the people that I actually care about. There's no way this is the right way to live. Jobs suck. All right, that's it.